Going. What I want to talk about today is this. Basically, what happens is when you start changing, you start to feel weird, and you start to feel like not yourself. And it's just important to remember that really, if you're trying to change, odds are you've been doing what you've been doing for a very long time, right? Because it's not until we get a little bit older that we start to self-examine a little bit and go, okay, hey, this is not good. But even if you're younger. Even if you're 8 already, you've probably been doing the same thing since you were 2, right? So you've been doing the same thing for 6 years, which is most of your life, right? Anyhow, excuse me. So if you're trying to change, odds are you've been doing the same thing for a long time. And you have to remember that what we think of as ourselves is really our attributes and what we can observe, right? So our internal feeling and what we do. So when you start to change, especially from negative to positive, this is going to change, right? You're going to feel different, right? Like internally, you're going to feel different. You're going to start doing different things. You're going to start acting differently. And you and the people around you will be like, hey, you're not acting like yourself, because that's really all we are to each other and ourselves is just a grouping of attributes and actions, right? So it's just important to remember that if you're not feeling like yourself, you're not, right? You're not acting like yourself, because what you thought was yourself, this group of attributes and stuff, has changed, right? So just keep that in mind if you're ever not feeling like yourself as you're making a positive change. If you talk to like shrinks, a lot of people see this, a lot of coaches see this, you start to feel weird just when you start to get, worry is a big one, right? Because worry is what we do to feel like we're in control a lot of the time, right? So when people stop worrying, they're like, oh my god, like that worrying was doing something, right? Worrying is what we do when we don't want to actually do anything, so we feel like we're doing something. So people are like, oh, I'm not worrying anymore, I'm not doing anything, oh, I'm out of control, right? Which is bullshit. Or it can be, right? Because if you're really not worried about anything, you might not do anything, right? But if constant worry doesn't do anything either, guys. So just remember, like, as you're changing, remember that if you don't feel like yourself or things feel weird, yeah, that's totally natural and it's okay. I mean, look at it. If you don't feel like yourself, look at it and be like, okay, like, is this, because, like, you can be doing something stupid and that feeling can come up too. But if you're doing it and you're changing, just be like, don't just give in to the feeling. Examine it, right? Get curious about it. Like, okay, why am I feeling this way? Is it just because my set of attributes that I consider to be myself is changing in a positive way, and it's just that change that's throwing it off, or am I changing in a negative way? Am I getting closer or farther away from what I would call my natural self? As always, onward and upward.